Welcome to Secrets of the Stars, where we explore the ancient knowledge of astrology, decode your unique blueprint, and unveil how the wisdom of the sky contributes to your life. I'm your host, Abby Lutis, astrologer, mentor, and sky guide. It's time to embark on a cosmic adventure of self-discovery and understanding why you are the way you are. Let's dive in. Well, hello and welcome back to Secrets of the Stars. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to be here and to be recording part 2 of the astrological energies of 2024. We are currently living through a Capricorn stellium, so there is lots of energy for discipline and working towards our goals. And I can definitely feel that. I have had a lot of energy and moving forward momentum. I have really felt that over the last few days. I dropped the part 1 of this episode on Sunday night, and I am here recording part 2 so we keep these energies flowing. I am really pumped because I had recorded an episode with the Village Crazy Lady, aka Miki Fisher. So if you haven't listened to that episode, you want to go over and check it out. I love Miki's podcast, The Village Crazy Lady. Miki really just brings real talk to the areas of our lives that, people might be too afraid to talk about. And she really does an incredible job. And I chatted with her all about the energies of 2024, the astrological energies, but we also talked a lot about different areas of astrology. And if you're a beginner, definitely go over and check out that podcast. It is super interesting. We went on many different tangents, but it is a really great broad spectrum astrology lesson, as well as an introduction to the energies of 2024. All right, so today I'm going to be taking a look at part 2 of the 2024 astrological energies. I wanted to remind you that I do have something exciting coming. If you are interested in learning more about astrology and how it applies to you and really deepening your connection with yourself, really understanding why you are the way you are, then you don't want to miss out on this, because I'm going to be announcing something in the coming weeks. And if you want to be the first to know and receive all the incredible bonuses that come along with this, then you want to be on my list. I'll link it in the show notes. If this sounds like you, head on over and sign up. Remember, if you want to know how all of this 2024 astrology is going to impact you personally, you can pick up one of my personalized 2024 astrology readings or reports. So let's jump back into this episode and continuing on with the astrology of 2024. We kind of made it till about April, so we'll pick up there. The 21st of April is significant because we are having a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Now, if there is something that you want to get excited for in 2024's astrology, this is it. Jupiter is the planet of abundance, expansion, and good fortune. And it's meeting up, it's aligning, it's called a conjunction. It's meeting up with Uranus. Uranus represents chaos, revolution, space travel, advancement in technology, and expression of our individuality. When this alignment happened in 1969, this alignment, by the way, only happens every 14 years. So it doesn't come around every day. When this alignment happened in 1969, the moon was also part of this configuration. And on this exact day, humans landed on the moon. I mean, you can't make this stuff up with astrology. It is just incredible. So for 2024, the 21st of April, mark this date in your calendar because I think it's going to be an exciting time. When planets align like this, their energies merge together, and this is a big moment in time. As I mentioned, it only happens every 14 years, and it's happening in the sign of Taurus. So if you have planets and points in Taurus, this is going to impact you dramatically. Taurus is a fixed earth sign, so this energy could play out in bringing grounding or security, connection to the environment, but it's a really positive transit. Think growth, abundance, prosperity, opportunities, adventure, meeting good fortune, and individuality, surprises, revolution, technological advancement to your benefit. All right. So this is like pleasant surprises, opportunities coming from left field that are going to support you that you didn't even know where they've come from. I'm expecting pleasant surprises and opportunities and good fortune around this time. Of course, it depends on where this plays out in your chart, but this is a really beautiful and positive alignment that's happening in 2024. Next up, we have the Taurus stellium. Now, we talked a lot about stelliums in part 1, and now we know that a stellium consists of 3 or 4 or more planets in a certain sign. And there are a lot of stelliums happening in 2024, especially in the first half of the year. So the Taurus stellium runs from the 29th of April to the 24th of May. Now, the strong times are going to be between the 7th, 8th, and 9th of May and the 16th to the 20th of May. So this is when Taurian energies are going to be strong, and we're going to be able to access them with ease. Taurus is a symbol of the bull, which is grounded, it's patient, it's stable, it's secure. And it really is being able to tap into these energies. Some other qualities would be that Taurus is connected to the senses, the environment around you, food, things like all our senses come online, right? Taste, touch, smell, feel. These are all, I often note that Taurus people love food. They're foodies, right? So, interesting to see what might happen in this space during the Taurus stellium. But, Taurus is the energy of fixed earth. So this is like being in a routine and being stable and connecting with tangible things. That stable, consistent, slow-moving energy that helps you achieve things. Now, this energy, we also need to take care that we're not going to be getting stuck in a rut, or that we're not being too stubborn during this time frame. So that's the Taurus stellium. All right, on the 26th of May, we see Jupiter move into Gemini. If you want to call in abundance in 2024, if you want more opportunities, more luck, more adventure, more fortune flowing your way, you want to always look for Jupiter, okay? So Jupiter is a planet of expansion, abundance, good fortune. I just spoke about this in regard to its alignment with Uranus. But Jupiter moves and changes signs about every 12, it makes a complete cycle of the zodiac in 12 years, and it changes signs about every 12 months. So what is this going to look like when Jupiter moves into Gemini? Gemini is a very social planet. It's connected to conversations and it's connected to communications. Writing is very big. Gemini is the twins, or also known as the lovers, and Gemini can have this great polarity. Gemini is a mutable air sign. So air energy is fast, it's up in the head, it's intellectual, and mutable energy is very changeable. So this is, I think we're going to see the pace of life speed up. Things are going to feel fast, and it could even feel too much. All right. So we want to be sure to be grounding, connecting in, especially with our breath, because Gemini energy represents the lungs. And so this is going to be important to be making sure that we're not getting overwhelmed. We're not getting caught up in this fast-paced life. Gemini, with Jupiter moving into Gemini too, I think there's going to be a lot of connection, a lot more socializing, a lot more getting out, being around friends, being around people, ideas dropping in, opportunities coming up, especially from our local surrounds, our local environment. I am thinking too that writing, journaling is going to be great for connecting in with our intuition, connecting into ideas and things that are coming our way. So that's going to unfold from the 26th of May for about the next 12 months. So that's pretty exciting. As soon as Jupiter moves in, it makes a trine to Pluto, which is a beautiful alignment of these outer planets. It goes exact on the 3rd of June. And, I've just spoken about Jupiter in Gemini. When I say a trine, this is harmonious energy. Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto is the planet of transformation, death and rebirth. It's the planet of power. So this suggests that there's going to be a harmonious relationship, an expansive relationship, a growth mindset to transformation. We could see a lot of things changing, and I think this is a very powerful alignment that's going to be happening here at the start of June. We might see things like, an expansion of this. Pluto in Aquarius is representing power to the people, right? So this could be really expanded, and there could be great things coming from this time. Activists speaking up, having their message heard, things changing, things moving in this space, power coming back into the hands of people. All right. This is a really powerful and transformational transit happening here on the 3rd of June. All right, so next up we have our final stellium for 2024, and this is the Gemini stellium. Gemini, as you can see, is a theme because we're kind of at the time of year that's Gemini season. Now, this stellium lasts from the 3rd of June to the 17th of June, and the key dates are between the 5th and 7th of June. So this is about accessing those Gemini energies. I've just spoken about the Gemini symbol being the twins, and it's Gemini's connection to communication and polarity. So, I'll say it again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This is going to be feeling very social. It's fast moving. One thing I didn't say about Gemini actually is that is mental chatter. Okay. It is, Gemini can be the energy signature of anxiety. So, be careful that we're not overthinking too. Gemini wants to be rational, it wants to be logical, and it definitely has a lot of ideas that come in. So yeah, how are you going to use that energy? Be careful, especially when it comes to overthinking and anxiety. And we need to drop back into our own bodies and remember to step back and take a breath and really lean into the things that connect us back into ourselves, essentially. And as I say that, I just take a drink of water. How funny. All right. So next up, we're going to see some interesting squares happening between Jupiter and Saturn. So this is a tense angle. Jupiter in Gemini will square Saturn in Pisces. So squares represent tension, challenge, often struggle. But the thing about them is that they give us opportunities to really learn a lesson. Now, we had the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction happen in 2020. And sometimes when we see this square, it's called the opening square. And it could be this unfolding story that happens over, the lifetime, the 30-year cycle of this Jupiter-Saturn cycle. So Jupiter in Gemini, this expansion of this fast-paced energy is going to feel a challenge when it butts up against Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces is all about bringing structure, bringing boundaries, foundation to the areas of Pisces, which is spirituality, creativity, artistic pursuits, wanting to escape. And so you can see already how this is, this could feel a little challenging. It could be the next story that unfolded that unfolds in relation to when they aligned, which was at the end of 2019. We all know what happened as a fallout in 2020. This was part of that. The conjunction was part of that. But this date, the 23rd of August, is the first time this square occurs. It also happens next to the full moon in Aquarius. So this date's going to be intense. It's going to be a lot. I also think we have like a Mercury retrograde. It could even be stationing direct on that day. I'm just checking my notes. No, it stations direct on the 29th of August. So Mercury will be in retrograde. There is a lot going on this day. It's probably going to be a lot of energy. So just note that it could be a challenging time. These squares will unfold, and there might be a bigger story here, a bigger sort of challenge or tense story that's woven over this time frame. This square also happens again on the 25th of December, Christmas Day here in Australia. So that's an interesting date. And then again on the 16th of June in 2025. So there could be a theme starting and a story that unfolds over this time. So definitely pay attention to what is going on here. Next up, we have Pluto moving back into Capricorn for the last time. Okay, I shouldn't say the last time. It will come around and be in Capricorn again, but not in our lifetime. As I mentioned in the last episode, Pluto takes around 250 years to do a complete cycle. So it won't be back in this area of your chart for around 220 years or so, because it takes, 20 years to move through a sign. So from the 2nd of September to the 20th of November, Pluto moves back into Capricorn. This is the final piece of the puzzle, or the final tying off of a story, of a transformation. What has Pluto in Capricorn represented? Pluto is the transformation, the exposing of the secrets. It is the unveiling things that have been hidden. It is the death and rebirth of what it is working through. And in Capricorn, that is that related to tradition, structure, government, and where it plays out in your personal chart may have a very different theme. But I'm talking generally, like we might see the end of an era here. Like, it's so interesting that this is also playing out during the time of the lead up to the presidential election in the United States. So an interesting story could be unfolding or finishing up, tying off a bow, and then it will move into Aquarius on the 20th of November for the next 20 years. So we're on the precipice of change here. I already spoke about this in part 1 of, this little series here. Okay, so moving on, Pluto is going to be making, Pluto has a lot going on this year. Hey, Pluto is going to be making a sextile to Neptune. This doesn't happen all the time either. When outer planets like this have these meetings, it is really significant, because they don't come along every day, especially planets like Pluto and Neptune, which move so slowly. So the Neptune-Pluto sextile won't go exact, but this story will be unfolding through 2025 through to 2035. Okay, so it is representing a period of transformation of our beliefs, of religion, about reality, and how the influence and the way we are structured in society. And it's happening for the good. If you have been working on yourself, working to be the best version of yourself, tapping into your intuition, doing your self-care, this energy is only going to support you here. So that is an interesting time frame. What's interesting about this that there are some other alignments that are happening as well. The Uranus-Neptune sextile is also happening, and the Uranus-Pluto trine is also happening. To be honest, those energies are not really exact, and the alignments, they're coming very close, but the alignments really play out in 2025 and 2026. But I'm going to leave those and talk about them next year. But when we put all this together, it's a pretty special time. These, as I said, these alignments don't come along every day. And when these outer planets are making harmonious configurations to one another, it's really positive. It's really beneficial. So good things are coming as a result. We may have to endure the challenge and the stress, but it's all for the greater good is what I'm sensing and what I'm seeing. All right, let's wrap up this episode with one last very important transit that I want to talk about, and that is Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde happens from the 7th of December to the 24th of February. And it happens in the sign of Leo, mostly in Leo and a little bit into Cancer. But this is significant. Mars retrograde is the rarest retrograde of them all. It only happens every 2 years. Venus retrograde happens about every 18 months, and every other planet happens every year. The moon doesn't go retrograde, and but Mercury, of course, we know it happens 3 times a year. Mars retrograde is also, I would have to say, one of the most challenging, if not the most challenging retrograde cycles to live through. And this one's a big one. It's 79 days long, all right? So it literally goes December, January, and February. That's 3 months, okay? And it's over this interesting time frame where we're closing out 1 year and opening another. I don't think that the Gregorian calendar does not line up with astrology. And, whilst there are some supportive energies moving into New Year's, astrologically, it doesn't really have much significance. So the start of this next 2025 is definitely going to be slow, all right? Let me explain Mars retrograde. If Mars was a person, we can think of it as the god of war. It is a masculine, the divine masculine. It wants to move forward. It represents our physical energy. It is about taking action. It's about doing. It's about momentum and moving forward. Mars wants to get things done, all right? And the shadow side of Mars can be anger, frustration, fighting, conflict, inflammation. In medical astrology, Mars represents the blood, and I'll tell an interesting story about Mars retrograde after I talk about this transit. So now that we know about Mars, if we're putting into the setting of a retrograde, which is essentially where the planet appears to be going backwards, it's like saying to Mars, all right, you have to stop, you have to slow down, and you have to rest. This god of war is not going to like that. And I definitely have seen that play out in Mars retrograde. This energy is a feeling of being either feeling stuck, not really knowing where to express your energy next, not knowing which way to turn. It's also a strong indication of burnout, using too much energy. And, this lines up with the end of the year because a lot of people do feel burnt out when it comes to the end of the year. And so moving into this time frame, we really need to pull back our energy, pull that back in so that we can give to ourselves first, all right? Because Mars retrograde can be tough. Emotionally, this could be anger, this could be frustration. Something is not working out for you. Something is not lining up. It can be rough. I remember doing readings in the last Mars retrograde, and every second person was like, I feel stuck. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm burnt out. Like, what is next for me? So it was very interesting. Now, in medical astrology, or let's call it, more body astrology, Mars is the planet of iron, right? It's practically made of iron. And so in our bodies, Mars represents iron. Now, I was learning medical astrology during a Mars retrograde, and I was learning all of this stuff about how Mars is responsible for inflammation. It's responsible for our blood, our energy, our iron. And I actually was having troubles with my iron, because retrograde, this is backward energy. So that made a lot of sense to me. So I just didn't have the energy to be going through my workouts. I was at a time in my life where I was super clean eating. I was doing a lot of working out, not over the top. I definitely wouldn't say that, but I can't remember a time in my life when I have had a diet that was so clean. So, but my iron levels were dropping and dropping and dropping. I was a vegetarian at this time, so I should say that, but I started eating meat again. But this didn't have any impact. Now, what was really interesting was I was also working in a health foods shop at the time, and a lot of people were coming in talking about their low iron levels. And I don't know if it's the cognitive bias or that, when you are experiencing something, all of a sudden that shows up in your world. But, I found it very interesting. Now, it was on the very last day of Mars retrograde that I actually had to go and get my iron infusion. And this was like the nail in the coffin to me about how on point medical astrology is. And I went in and, the nurse hooked me up and she said to me, I don't know what is going on right now, but every second person has been coming in here for an iron infusion. And I really, I just had to take a minute because I was like, I didn't actually say anything. I was still very new to the medical astrology side of things, but I just was like, wow. I could not believe that had come from, the nurse at the hospital, saying that all these people were having trouble with their iron levels during this time where Mars retrograde can represent depletion of your iron stores. So that was just so incredible for me and very, very interesting and confirming about medical astrology. So Mars retrograde, please take care, slow down during this time, the 7th of December through to the 24th of February, 2025. It's a time of just reassessing your relationship to your physical energy and the way that you take action and expand exert your energy. Okay, so there you have it. Now, I just want to mention again, I do have some exciting things that are coming. And if you want to be the first to know, if you want to get on that list where when I announce my announcement, you have access to all the incredible bonuses, then please go to the link in my show notes and sign up. And you'll be the first to know. And if you're interested in getting a 2024 astrology report or booking in for a reading, please go to my website, abbylucius.com. There you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this two-part series on the astrology of 2024. I certainly have enjoyed bringing them to you. So let me know if you've got any questions, or I am always loving connecting with you on Instagram and TikTok and even over on my Facebook page. Please come in and drop me a note. I love chatting with you. I love to hear how things are playing out for you in your world. But until next time, keep shining bright. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for joining me on this cosmic journey of self-discovery. If you have enjoyed this episode, please leave a review and share it with someone who you think would love it. Keep exploring the secrets of the stars, and remember, the universe has woven a unique story just for you. Until next time, keep shining bright.